Hello friends, I'm here to share my experience on Maruti. Maruti conducted an online test. There were two tests, like one was technical and second was psychometric test. The eligibility criteria for the test was that you have to have a minimum of 65% aggregate marks in your CGPA equivalent, and there should be no back papers. There should be no pending back papers. And the third one was the company can give you any department of their choice. And the fourth one, there should be no color blindness. Okay, and about the paper, in the technical there were 30 questions in all, and for which the time allotted was 30 minutes. There was no negative marking, and the questions mainly were 5 from automobile sector, and 5 to 6 questions were from production technology. 5 to 7 questions were from kinematics of machines, and the rest questions, out of 30, the rest questions were from thermodynamics, boilers, and one more fluid mechanics. And there were numericals also, one or two numericals from strength of materials. Kinematics numericals were from basically on cam and flower mechanism, and there was one numerical on turbines also. So this was all about written, and after that there was a psychometric test in which around 30 to 40 questions were there, and the time allotted was 10 to 20 minutes. That's it for the written. And so after the written test, the result was out within 20 to 25 days. We get the result. 150 students gave the test, and out of which 63 were selected. 3 from computers, 41 from mechanical, and the rest was from electrical. Only 3 branches were eligible: computers, mechanical, and electrical. And then we get a call for the interview after 10 to 15 days of the result out, and our interview was held at Gurgaon plant itself. In the interview, there were 3 panels were there. One was HR round, second was training based, and third was completely technical. They were dividing the students accordingly. Anyone can get the HR round, anyone can get the training, and so on. Mine was HR part. When I went to the interview, they asked me about. They saw my resume. They asked me about my place, where I am from. Actually, I am from Abohar, so they asked me questions on Abohar. There was a BSF camp unit there, so they asked me about the number of units present there at this point of time. Second question was the population of Abohar. I gave them accordingly what I thought, and then they come to my training part. They saw my resume. I have been training. I have done my training in refrigeration air conditioning carrier, Gurgaon. So they asked me some questions on trainings. What was my actual contribution there? What was my project done? And they asked one question that in this hall, how much ton of AC would be required? So I gave the answers accordingly. They asked my contributions, what my was project, and then finally they asked any 2 questions. So I asked one. My first question was, what was my first role as a fresher? Second question was, the Maruti, as you all know, Maruti is going to opening a plant in Gujarat. So I asked them, are we going to get a chance to go to Gujarat? And they answered me accordingly. And one more thing about my family background. When they asked me about introduction, I tell them about my family background. So my father is a businessman. I said that he has a garment shop there. So they asked me, why you join engineering, and simple generally questions like why you don't want to be a businessman. And that's all for my HR interview, and thank you. In tips, I want to mostly concentrate you guys on training part. Do your training very well. If possible, get some sort of project done there, and because Maruti will be mostly concentrating on your training part, and if possible, if you do your training with Maruti itself, that will going to be add a plus point to you. And secondly, in subjects like, you can go through automobiles knowledge and thermodynamics and mostly production technology. That will be good enough for the interview. Thank you.